I will respect the president of MCOS, the director of MCOS, the whole MCOS board, and the respective government officials here. My name is Wisbon Malaya. I'm Secretary General for Zimbabwe Chamber of Informal Economy Association, and would like to first thank you, MCOS, for inviting us to come here and give a presentation on the impact of COVID-19 on SMEs, where we have gone further to say informal economy associations and SMEs, because according to us, the difference is plus or minus the same. So as I will give this presentation, I'm stating on behalf of our national president, Lawrence Banda, who's based in Rwanda. I will give you just a brief about this organization called Zimbabwe Chamber of Informal Economy Association, because maybe not all of us might be aware of it, so we feel it's important for you to know, and I hope I will not take time. So briefly, Zimbabwe Chamber of Informal Economy Associations was formed in 2002. It was formed in 2002 as a result of the company closures. I think we all know in our country, after independence in the 90s, we went through a bad patch because of the ESAPs. And as a result of ESAPs, a lot of company closures, retrenchments, and so forth. But all the people who were either employed or who were coming from any level of education, seeking employment, they started finding themselves doing one thing or the other. That became the informal economy, or the SMEs we are talking about. And as that was happening, the environment was not permissive in terms of regulating or recognizing the operations of these people. And that's where Zichia came from, formation of bringing together all those people who are doing some form of trade out there and not being recognized by the law of the land as a way to try and create an environment to be recognized. This formation, I would like to also confirm that it is not just a mere formation. It was also a part of a tripartite platform where it was discussed as a concern in the country to say we have a lot of people who are doing different forms of trade and they are not accounted for or recognized as to what are they doing. So MCOS, government and labor had a discussion which resulted into this formation. Then as an organization, we are structured across the whole country. Okay, our mission is alleviating poverty through transforming informal economic activities into mainstream activities. And our vision is decent standards of living for all Zimbabweans in a stable economy. We have structures across the whole country as an organization, and these are people who are in different forms of trade, be it productive, manufacturing, agriculture, service provision, all different cross-border traders. But just this map where the green dots is to show you how we are structured as an organization. And also it's important for us to know that in Zimbabwe, I think we've talked of the ESAP. Since then, the economy has been ticking. As the economy has been ticking, the informal workers, traders, or the SMEs have contributed for that to happen. And the current statistics, I've just taken a bit of those statistics, communicate this to say those people who are called are employed in the country, 76.5% are in the informal economy. And also, a lot of women are also part of this economy, and they are contributing to make sure their children are going to school, they are paying the bills, life is moving on. It's also important to note that The informal economy and SMEs contribute to the country's GDP. I'm happy the economists shared in the morning when you was talking of some percentage marks in terms of distribution to say we continue to ignore the SMEs and the economy, yet a lot of activity is happening in that space. And the statistics of the country also communicate to this. So it's no longer like a sector to say informal sector, it's an economy where any form of business activity is taking place there. We talk of dairy board, we talk of a number of institutions represented here by MCOS. The products which are coming from all these big business hubs, they are making these businesses continue to thrive because of this informal economy SME sector. I will give one good example. Sorry, I just highlighted, for example, dairy board. The Maheu, it's all over. But there is one person who then takes those plastic empties, bring them together, takes them through into recycling, and has contributed a very big role in the country for the economy to run, if we talk of climate change and other factors. So this is the reason why we feel having been invited here is very, very important, and we really appreciate MCOS. Now, talking of COVID-19, as was mentioned earlier on, it affected everyone on board. And the informal economy, we're worst affected, yes. We're worst affected, yes, but the impact was too much at individual levels. Those majority of workers in the informal economy, SMEs, they live from hand to mouth. Majority of them. It's a survivalist space. So as a result, when one person is affected, the whole family is equally affected. And when the lockdown came, as we know, in March, it was just sudden. No one was prepared for it. And majority of these people are hand-to-mouth operators. And they just suffered the pinch. And some of the effects, as mentioned there, it's good that we also work with the International Labour Organization statistics, where they even had speculated in terms of job losses in their statistics when COVID-19 started. And certainly Zimbabwe was not spared on those statistics to this day. But one important thing I may also need to highlight is the issue of closure. The small business is closed. Some people were trading spaces, and the health sector came and said these are illegal trades, and they destroyed the trading spaces. And those spaces were closed to this day. Some people have not yet recovered. Those who used to do cross-border trading, yes, we know there's another way of hustling now, but life has never been the same as we speak to this day. And as a result, there were a lot of things, stress, and there was need for a lot of counseling. There were deaths recorded, not deaths of COVID-19, but deaths as a result of the effects, the pain, some people failing to manage the pressure which was coming along with effects. And the young people were also equally affected, because majority of the young people, when they leave school now, they are trying to hustle in the informal economy. And when the lockdown came, they were locked up. No wonder we have had a lot of drug abuses which had taken place, a lot of teenage pregnancies. All these things were happening in the communities because there was pressure in the communities, and people had nothing to do. We also talk of gender-based violence which was happening, and all these affected the workers and traders in the informal economy. As of women, they are the majority of the sufferers, because I think when we have been following the records about how domestic violence has been thriving in the country, and all these are effects of COVID-19. Then we cross-border traders talk of education to this day. Those who have opportunities to take their children to private school, it's good for them. But the majority of the SMEs and workers and traders in the informal economy cannot take their children to private schools. And as we speak to this day, children are not really going to school. And these are effects, and exam classes are running, and others are thriving. So there is a big depth of inequality, which is continuing to expand. Then we also have, so I'm being told of time, so I'm just closing. I hope you pardon me on this one. Right, then all these are just impacts. I'm going to remove, I think the economists in the morning talked also the issue of tax, to say informal economy, when the 2% tax was introduced, it really contributed the 2% tax. But now that COVID came, even the contribution ratio at government level, I think it has gone down because the majority of the people are still not yet fully into trading. And the other important thing is, right, there was a package from the government to cushion the effects of COVID-19 on the informal economy and SMEs. But it's unfortunate that a few people benefited from that. Though the statistics communicate of many people who benefited, we are still discussing at organizations level to say we need to do a survey on who exactly benefited, because the people on the ground whom we registered and submitted for them to benefit did not benefit. But the records confirm that people benefited. So the question is, who benefited? We were shocked to also hear from MCOS, as they were shared, to say even the $18 billion business stimulus package, there is also a cry that the business people did not benefit from the package to resuscitate their business. So it's something else which is also on the informal economy, because there was a package to give people who are trading in the informal economy to resuscitate. But the conditions which were set there are as good as the collateral conditions, to say normal standard conditions. There was nothing to show that it's a rescue package on the disaster which we had. So in terms of sustainable interventions, we just have a few things we feel it's important for us as a country to do to have the sustainability. And we narrow down to this place, the business platform, where we feel the informal economy and SMEs are a key player in the growth of Zimbabwe. And as that is happening, every big business in Zimbabwe requires a certain arm of the informal economy for it to thrive, whichever way. We are talking of NDS 1 as a country. We are talking of 2030 agenda as a country. We are talking of Agenda 2063, Africa agenda. And as long as in Zimbabwe we do not have an approach that regulates or accommodates the operations of the informal economy players as a key player to that development, then all this talk is still a dream for us as a country. So we feel business should support the participation of the informal economy and SMEs at the TNF. Why TNF? This is the social partners space, and we feel it's critical. We are happy MCOs have understood the issues of the informal economy, but we still feel participation where issues of the informal economy to regulate the operations is very key to be incorporated in that space. And we would really appreciate business to accommodate that. Gone should be the days where business in Zimbabwe speak to say informal economy are criminals, they are obstructing our operations. We no longer need that. Everyone needs everyone. That's what we think. And we also feel we have set up what we call, I'm just jumping. I want to get, yeah. We have set up what we call thematic areas for a better Zimbabwe for all. These thematic areas, there are 6. The first one is respect and recognition of the informal economy. And this is an issue of law. We feel there is need for that political will to have an act which it respects and recognizes the informal workers and remove the criminalization component. Then the number 2 is the development of business linkages, where we connect, we align the formal businesses and the informal economy associations which link with those formal businesses to have that relationship of business growth and employment creation. Then the other issue is the issue of market access. There are also informal small players who are in the system who need that connection to the access or to the market and let that be that interaction with the bigger businesses, so that we can also promote growth and also create employment. The other one is the issue of social protection. We feel there are many business hubs like the First Mutual. They offer those social safety net packages. There must also be packages which are attractive to the workers and traders in the informal economy, so that they can be part and parcel of the mainstream economy. Then we have the other one, financial inclusion, where issues to do with collateral when it comes to banking and finance should be revisited to make sure the small players, they access the resources and also grow the business. We believe if these things happen, I think even as we are talking of COVID-19, but the people in general, their lives will be transformed to become better lives. I see Mr. Kumbira is hard on me. So I think in a nutshell, this is what we just had to share with you. But allow me to just read the last statement here, where we said business, government, business, and labor must embrace the informal economy and SMEs businesses and employment creation efforts for us to have a stable economy. We need a stable Zimbabwe. We can never have a stable Zimbabwe when 76.5% are not recognized by the law as legal operators. So it's the duty of the business to also play a role to say, guys, let's put up a regulation which formalizes these operations. And these people, they contribute to the fiscus. And it becomes the money we want. We believe if informal workers and traders contribute to the fiscus, nurses can be paid, teachers can be paid, because they also contribute to the fiscus. So this is a political will which we are pushing to say, business, we need to come together and support each other to make sure this happens. Then the last statement, certainly one industrial hub can no longer employ 2,000 people. The world has become digital. At once, and due to technology replacement of human capital, but 2,000 informal traders or SMEs can create 40,000 jobs. Because we are saying one person can employ 10 people. That's a business. But it's now complicated for one business to employ 2,000. So we are saying this is the new normal, and let's embrace it at the level of business and incorporate the operations of informal traders. I think if we do that, we'll fight COVID-19 together as one. Thank you.